Welcome to Our Future is Kind, a podcast exploring how we build the future we want to live in, one kind act at a time. I'm your host, Michael Neece, president of Our Future is Kind, and your companion in conversations about kindness, leadership, connection, and courage. Each week, I sit down with thoughtful leaders, creators, and bridge builders to explore what a healthier, more humane future could look like, and the choices it takes to build it. These are honest conversations about purpose, culture, curiosity, and what it really means to show up for one another at work, in our communities, and in everyday life. Along the way, we'll unearth practical ideas, small but meaningful acts, and questions worth sitting with, because building what's next is a choice. So let's dive in. I'm so excited today. We have a special guest, Liam Paschall. I have run across so many of the things that Liam has written on LinkedIn. If there's ever been a ray of light on LinkedIn talking about issues that really matter, talking about how to value humanity and treat people with deep kindness, it's Liam. And so without any further ado, Liam, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Michael. I'm really glad to be here and glad to meet you. Again, such a small world. We both worked at the same place at some point.
That's right. Yeah. Well, before we dig into, some of our overlap and in career and all of that, I gave an introduction of you, but I always like to hear straight from our guests. What is it that makes you, you?
You know, I never introduced myself like this, but I think I'm going to this time for various reasons. I'm a human being. I'm a man who just happens to be transgender. My pronouns are he, him. I am happily married to a beautiful woman that I've been with for over 20 years. We live in North Carolina. I was raised by my grandmother in a very, very small place called 𝐸𝐵𝐺. You probably have never heard of it. It's literally like farming area. And she actually made me the person that I am today. She taught me to be kind to everyone I meet. And she is still the angel on my shoulder. I lost her many years ago, but she's still the angel on my shoulder who constantly tells me to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and to do unto others as they want to have done unto them, not as I want, but as they want. I think, a lot of my work obviously is focused on helping organizations, medical facilities, schools, workplaces, and even individuals create truly inclusive spaces of belonging, not just in theory, but in practice. And I think now more than ever, that really matters because I know that when people are supported, when they're affirmed, when they're valued, they thrive. And that is the future that I want to build for everyone.
Well, that's lovely. The idea that you are a human and that you are kind, so you are a great representative of humankind. So that's great that you're here on this program because I really want to explore so many topics with you.
Yeah.
Let's dive into what you mentioned first, which was that you and I overlapped. There's at least one company in our background, but I've been in clinical trials in a previous life of mine for about 18, 19 years. One of the places where I worked was Paschall, and so you worked there.
I did. I actually was in their learning and development side of the house. So I did, started out as a training business partner and ended up moving into their leadership development role. And it's interesting because I ended up going to work there because I was doing some consulting work and delivering some workshops on LGBTQIA2S+ inclusion. And I did that training for them. And so we kind of just, got to know each other a little bit, and lo and behold, I ended up going to work for them for a good while. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I was at Paschall a couple of different times, in the early 20-teens, I guess, over in the programming department. And yeah, I mean, a great employer, a lot of great things to say about it. I miss the place and I miss the people. I mean, you and I've both been in training roles. And so I know that you have this way, I mean, I can already tell, this way of explaining things and talking just straight to people's hearts.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that you mentioned is that you are a human and you're a man and you just happen to be trans. Let's please dig into that because I have family members who are trans. I have a great circle of friends who are in the LGBT community and in particular in the trans community here in the center of North Carolina. I have several friends who are speakers and authors and writers and who are gosh, I mean, they're people.
Yeah, they're people.
And yeah. And so you brought that up. Tell me a little bit about it. Why should people be terrified of you? What?
Such a scary person, right? You know, it's interesting because I tell people all the time, if you just saw me on the street, or you saw me at the grocery store or anywhere getting my car serviced at the local dealership, you wouldn't think twice about probably having a conversation with me. As a matter of fact, my wife will tell you that if I go anywhere, I don't know a stranger, and I tend to strike a conversation with just about anyone.
Right.
And so people that I don't tell I'm trans just see me as an average, ordinary guy that they pass on the street or in the grocery store, and we might strike up a conversation and find out we've got a lot in common. I think what bothers me tremendously, and I am very vocal about who I am, is that people cannot get past the fact that someone is transgender or non-binary. It is the one thing that they see in that person that they cannot get past. And I say that because much like it is with, lesbians, gays, bisexual, when it comes to sexual orientation, I think a large part of it is that they can't get past what's under our clothes,
right,
and what is going on in someone's bedroom.
Right.
And that is so shocking to me, because I don't look at an individual and think, oh, I wonder, who they're sleeping with, or I wonder what's going on in their bedroom, what's going on in their homes. I don't think like that. When I look at someone, I'm trying to look at that individual for what's here and here. Who is that person as an individual? What can I learn from that person, especially if they're different from me, if they're a different race, if they're a different gender, if they practice a certain religion, if they're from a specific country outside of the U.S. These are things that I look for that help me to build those meaningful relationships. And if people could just stop for just a moment and just forget about the fact that someone is trans or someone is non-binary, and think this is a human being, this is an individual. They once were babies, and now they're grown up to be these amazing human beings. And if I would only just take the time to get to know that person as an individual, I might just forget that they're transgender or non-binary and just like this person as a person.
Well, when I go to work and I interact with people, I don't ever ask, so tell me about your anatomy.
Right.
Tell me, I don't know why that would ever occur to me.
It's amazing. It's amazing the number of people that will address someone who they know is trans, they've been told they're trans, and say, well, have you had the surgery? Have you had the bottom surgery? Have you had the top surgery?
Right.
I would never think to address someone like that.
Right. Well,
I don't understand. Well, I do understand. It's societal norms. We can't get past the way things have been in society forever. It's kind of like those gender reveal parties that people have. I don't get it. Why does it matter to you whether you're going to have a boy or a girl? What if it's an intersex child?
Right.
How is that child going to feel at some point in their life if you've given this great big gender reveal party and now their gender identity is totally opposite from their sex assigned at birth, or they're an intersex child and the doctor and you decided to make them something that they're not? People just don't stop and think, don't have a gender reveal party. Hey, I'm having a child party. Everybody come celebrate. I'm having a wonderful human being. I don't care whether it's a male or female. I don't care. I'm just having a child. I hope they're healthy. I hope everything about them is just a bundle of love and joy, and that is all that matters. Come celebrate that with me. Right. But we can't get past it. We can't get past the societal norms. We can't get past how we were raised. People love to say, well, that's not what I learned when I was brought up. Well, you learned it, so obviously you can unlearn it.
Right. Yes. And I always think about Star Trek. Star Trek is my touchstone for so many things. You'll apologize as I get onto my little soapbox here.
No, it's okay.
What I love about the Star Trek universe is that it's the people who are showing up to run the starship, to have negotiations with aliens. It's all of these people that it doesn't matter if they're a shimmering orb of light, if they're an android, if one day they are male, the next day they are female. It really, like, oh, you're blue. Okay, awesome. You have antennae.
Yep.
Like, what matters is what is the heart of that character? What is the heart of that person? How do they treat others? How serious are they about their jobs?
Yeah.
Like, those are the only questions that really matter. And then everything else, all of the differences are just, they're treasures. It's like,
it's icing on the cake.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't know that your people sang opera. That's so cool. Teach me more, Klingon man. You know, it's so for me, having been raised in a Star Trek kind of thought process, and a very, a very open household, I am with you on this. I'm a straight man. I was born a man. I am a man. I don't really get it.
This makes me think about, I went to, when I was working at Cisco, I got to go to Haiti. I volunteered to go to Haiti 3 years in a row, with a group of people. And I'll never forget the first year that I went, I was the only Caucasian person in the group, literally. And I was terrified because all I could think was, I'm going over to this country that someone living in the U.S., I've only seen the bad things, right? Because we don't show anything good about some countries. It's all the horrible things.
Right.
And so I remember thinking, wow, am I doing the right thing? Am I going to be safe? Is this okay? My wife was concerned, but I got there, and I will tell you, I have never in my entire life ever felt the love and acceptance and the beauty that I have felt from Haitians. They took me in, accepted me, called me part of their family, honorary Haitian. I have never, ever felt that from anyone here in the U.S. And that's sad because this is one of those countries who, I'm just going to say it, I mean, I'm sure everybody remembers that, one of our lovely people who's now president calls a shithole country. And maybe that's the way he views it for various reasons that are not appropriate. But for me, it is a place I will always, always treasure because the people there, they don't have a lot. Most of them don't. They've lost a lot, whether it be from, storms, earthquakes, whatever. But what they have, they so appreciate. They take nothing for granted. And that includes people, human beings. They look at another person and think, how can I connect with this person and really get to know this person? And wow, what an amazing relationship I can gain from getting to know this person. That is what they're like.
And I want to visit there now.
You do. I promise you do. Beautiful place, beautiful people.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you were doing while you were there? I mean, you enjoyed being plugged into the community, but what were your tasks that you're engaging in?
So there was a group of us that were basically working with young adults there who were going to one of the local colleges that didn't have any air conditioning, none of the finer things that obviously we have here in our universities and colleges. And we were teaching them different skills so that they could go out and find employment, whether that had been, in Haiti, giving back to their community, or leaving Haiti and learning some skills and coming back and giving back to their community there. But I was one of the folks who was teaching professional development. So interview skills, how to write a resume, how to put yourself out there and create a LinkedIn profile and really get people to recognize who you are and the skills that you bring to the table. And it's interesting because while I was there, we had a graduation ceremony the first year that I was there, and one of the students came running up to me and he's like, guess what? I got an interview. I have an interview next week for this job that I applied for. And it was in Haiti. And just seeing the excitement of that person and knowing how much what we did for them meant to them. I've never been able to describe that feeling. And I brought it home with me. And then at some point I lost it. And I yearned for that feeling again, because you just don't get that on an average day from teaching anyone here anything, right? It's so difficult to describe just how much they appreciate even the smallest things. And I'll always treasure that. That is just something I will forever remember, and I'll always treasure. And a lot of them have kept in touch with me even since, it's been years since I went. And they'll reach out to me on LinkedIn, or they'll send a message in an email and just let me know how they're doing. And a lot of them have really excelled. They've gone on to do some great things. Some of them are in other countries now and doing some things there, but they're just so, so appreciative, even now, to, what we did for them while we were there. And I always tell my wife, I came back with so many pictures and so many videos, and I always tell my wife, I got so much more out of that than they ever, ever, ever got from me. I just learned so much about being a human being, an individual, from those people in Haiti.
Well, people are the real treasures here in this existence. Yeah. I mean, you described yourself as somebody who never knows a stranger, right?
I don't.
Right. And I feel like I'm very much the same way. Like, I feel like when I meet a barista or somebody who's driving the bus that I'm on, or just anybody, I kind of fall just a little bit in love with that person, just a little bit.
You have to. You can't help it.
Because they are bringing some treasure to this universe, to this existence that we have that nobody else can bring.
Exactly. Everybody here is here for a reason.
Yeah. I am so interested to hear more about you as a person. What do you do when you're not at work? What are the things that you do that are fun? How do you engage in hobbies and that sort of thing?
It's funny because I like to jump out of airplanes.
What now?
I've done it. Yeah, I've done it twice now. And I've only done it tandem, but my wife hates it. She absolutely hates it because all she can think is, why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Right. What would be the point in that? But it's funny because I got it as a gift one year because I'd been talking about wanting to go, and I put it off, and then I scheduled it, and the weather got bad, and then I put it off again, and then finally I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna do it. And it was the most exhilarating thing you could ever imagine. I was terrified. Like, we're in the plane and we're literally like squatted like ducks walking towards the door, and all I can think is, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. And you would think, all I could think then was, okay, when I get to the door, I am going to lose it, and I'm never going to be able to jump out of this thing. Well, you don't really have a choice. Tied to the person that's going with you. And he's already said, like, hey, look, you better tell me now, because once we get to the door, that's it. We're rolling out of here. I'll never forget. And I got to that door, and it was like this sense of calm just came over me, and I wasn't afraid anymore. And he said, are you ready to go? And we literally just rolled out, like rolling onto a cloud, like just a bed of clouds. Wow. And it was the most exhilarating, most amazing feeling I've ever had in my entire life. And you just want it to last forever. And it goes by so quickly. And then you have to figure out, okay, when I hit the ground, I got to start running, because if I don't, I'm going to break my legs. But it's just the best feeling. And I went and did it again. My daughter went and watched me, and she was like, I think I want to do that too. And she still hasn't done it. I think she's terrified, but I love it. But that's one of the things I truly enjoy. I think if you have not done that, you have to do it at least once. I watched a video of like a 90-year-old lady doing it for the first time, and she just was so excited. But that's one of the things I love. I love going on trail walks with my dog. We have 2 dogs. One is a Bernedoodle. We just got him. He's a puppy. Love going on trail walks and taking my camera with me. To me, there's so much beauty in everything that seems really simple and minor to other people. Like, when I tell people that I love flowers, they think it's kind of strange, because guys that like flowers, like, what? But I will go out and just take random photos of all these different flowers that I see. And the more flowers, the better. I'm all about, butterflies and dragonflies and all the hummingbirds. I go crazy over hummingbirds. Like, I am a hummingbird, like, madman. That listening to music, I love music. I'm not an opera person. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. Nope. I can't do it. I love classical. I love rap. I like pretty much anything, but I just cannot do opera. Sports, huge sports fan, and mostly NFL football.
Okay. Who's your team?
Well, it's always been doing the Patriots, but they've not been doing so well since, Brady left.
Sure.
But I'm hoping that this is the season they're going to rebuild and finally get it back together, but we'll see. But I can watch, honestly, my wife will tell you, I can watch any team play. If it's football, I'm all about it. I don't care who's playing. I don't care who it is. But yeah, and then spending time in my Jeep. I have probably my 5th or 6th Jeep Wrangler that I've owned. The one I have now is an orange. It's called a pumpkin orange color.
Okay.
And I like to take the top down and just let go. There's nothing like going down the road with the Jeep and the windows down, the top down. You just feeling the wind. It feels so good. It's just a great,
real actual Jeep.
Oh, it's so relaxing. You just, even when it's hot, it's just so good. You turn the air on, you open the back up, and you just go.
It sounds relaxing. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to travel. I mean, we've been to Italy, we've been to France, we've been to Alaska. We've been to a lot of different places. We're actually supposed to go on another cruise. First time actually going on Virgin Cruise Line next month. And I'm gonna share this part of the story because while it is exciting and I'm really looking forward to going, my wife is a little nervous, as am I, about the traveling.
Yeah.
All of my documents obviously have the correct gender marker and the correct name. Everything is correct on them, including my birth certificate. It's all been updated. But we're going through Florida, Miami, to board the ship. And so there's a feeling of, okay, well, what if I have to go to a restroom in the Florida airport?
Right.
You can't do that because if for any reason someone happens to think, oh, this is a trans person, I think this might be a trans person, I could get arrested. It's happened recently to someone. You know, am I going to be pulled aside, detained, whatever, for whatever reason they might want to come up with to do that? So even, you know, something that should be just a wonderful thing to think about. We've gone on many, many trips and been so excited.
Yeah.
Now comes with a side of what if.
Right.
So, again, love to travel. I'm hoping that things do change so that we don't have to have that fear that now coincides with travel. I told my wife, I said, I'm going. We're going to have a good time. If something happens that shouldn't happen, that we don't want to happen, we'll figure it out.
Right. Well, I hope it's a fantastic trip, and I hope it's just a lot of fun from beginning to end.
I'm gonna snorkel with sharks, so that's something else I've been wanting to do. So now I'm gonna get the chance to do that.
Hanging out with sharks and jumping out of airplanes.
Right? You gotta live life.
Adventurer Liam Paschall. I tell you, it's exciting. So you brought it up. I'm going to go there. You're in Florida. You're in the airport or wherever, and you have to go to the bathroom. What is it that trans people do in the bathroom? I know that I go in there to pee. Maybe I go in there to wash my hands or maybe make my hair look nice. What would you do?
That's basically it. And it's funny because I think that, again, people, they cannot put aside their views that cause them to equate trans people with grooming or pedophilia. I've tried to explain to people numerous times, like if you go out and do your own research, I'm not going to do it for you. I'll show you. But if you go out and just research yourself, don't rely on Fox News. Go do some serious research and look at the data. You'll see that we are not the ones to be concerned about. It's the religious fanatics. It's the oftentimes cisgender, white, heterosexual male. And it's it's almost like a panic attack for me when I have to go to a public restroom when I'm out and about.
On top of needing to pee, now you also have all this other stuff.
You have to use the restroom, and for me, it's like, okay, well, can I hold it until I get home or till I get to somewhere that's got a family restroom or gender-neutral restroom? Right. If I can, it's like, oh my God, like I need to text my wife and tell her where I am and that I'm going in the restroom. And if I'm not out in a certain amount of time, she needs to, call somebody, do something.
Right.
And it shouldn't be that way. We literally, trust me when I tell you, we want to get in the restroom. We want to do what we have to do, which is use the restroom. maybe check to make sure our hair looks okay, our clothes are clean, everything's good, wash our hands.
Right.
We want to get out. We do not want to stay in there with anyone and have conversation. We don't want to gossip. We don't want to look at you. We don't want you looking at us. We just want to use the restroom and get out and go on about our day. It is not one of those things that we treasure, right?
Right.
It is literally like, and I just use the restroom and get out. That's it. And what we try to tell people, a lot of us, is when you go to your restroom at home, you share that restroom with other people in your home that are not the same gender identity, maybe, or not the same sex. What's any different?
Right. Right.
I'm starting to think that maybe some cisgender people are going in the restroom to do more than just use the restroom, because that's how I feel. I feel like they're going in there as investigators and looking at people, trying to figure out, is this person cisgender? Are they transgender? Should they be in here? Should they not?
Right.
And I can tell you right now, if I walked into a women's bathroom, I would certainly get some strange looks.
Of course.
So why would anybody want me to do that?
Right.
That's the part I don't get. Like, why would you want me in a women's restroom with your wife, your daughter, your whomever? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Right. Well, not that you would ever do anything harmful. It's just more, that would be more startling.
That would be more startling. Yeah. Like, I could see someone looking at me going, why are you in here?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I get that. I understand why you're asking.
Right. Right.
But I just think sometimes people just don't stop and think, like, why would you ever want me to go in a restroom that, one, makes me feel uncomfortable, and two, makes other people feel uncomfortable? Like, I just want to go use the restroom. I am a man just like you. I just want to go use the restroom. That's it. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing, whether I'm in a stall or I'm standing at a urinal. It shouldn't matter to you. Just do what you have to do and get out. Same thing I'm going to do. That's it. When we're outside the restroom, if you want to have a conversation about sports, football, jumping out of planes, whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it. But let's get out of the restroom.
For sure. Yeah. It's always distressing to me that there are arguments that are made that there is some sort of danger to be had with who's in what bathroom. When I think that there are, I don't know how many rape kits that are at police stations that are unprocessed. That there are women that I know in my life, and men as well, who are afraid to go on a path, on a run.
Absolutely.
They feel like they need to go in packs. They feel like they need to text people and call people and tell them where they're going to be because they don't feel safe.
100%.
And that's not being addressed nearly to the extent that this is being policed. And this, the population of the country of, say, women who feel under threat by, going out at dusk for a run.
Yep.
That population is half of the 300 some million people who are in this country. And that's not being addressed.
It's not. I, as much as people choose, because it is a choice, as much as some people choose to hate me because of the fact that I'm trans, I can assure you that if I ever saw a situation where you, as a person who hated me, was being attacked or ridiculed or harmed in any way, I would absolutely stand up for that person. I would. Their child, them, it doesn't matter. I just, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
And am I a little upset, mad, angry? Yeah. I'm really, some days, really pissed off that people choose to hate.
Yeah.
Whether it's because of skin color, religion, national origin, ability, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people can choose to hate, and especially can choose to hate and blame it on their religion.
Right. Right. Yes. A religion that is based on love and hope and kindness and courtesy and all of the other things. A prior guest on the show is Daryl Davis. He is a black blues musician who befriends people who are in the KKK.
I've seen him. I actually read a story about him.
Yeah. And one of his catchphrases is, "How can you hate me when you don't even know me?"
Exactly.
And that's kind of what I'm hearing come from you as well, Liam.
Yeah. You can't know someone if immediately upon seeing that person or learning something about them, you shut yourself off.
Right. Right. Yeah. As we said earlier in the program, people are the real treasures in this world. And if we keep our hearts open and really think logically about this, there's a lot of great people out there, and I'm glad to know you. So,
and think about what a different world we would live in if everyone just believed that way.
yeah.
Like people are just human beings. We're all trying to get through this crazy thing called life together.
Mm.
And if we just band together as a community, as a nation, imagine what it would be like. My grandmother, and people pick on me about this, but I don't even care. I grew up watching Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, it's a great show.
It is. And there's some things about it now that I look back and go, that wasn't really very diverse. But I think back to the way that people helped each other in that show, the different communities, and just coming together. And somebody had an issue with their crops not coming up, and they got ruined, or somebody's house burned out, whatever the case may be. It was always people just coming together to help each other.
Yeah.
And I think about what a different world we would live in if everyone just acted even a little bit like that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, even the town gossip would be helped by anyone and would help anyone. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And she was not one of my favorite people, but at the end of the day, she would come through when somebody needed it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so Liam, I want to take you on a journey that is unique for this program.
Sure.
So here at our Future is Kind podcast, we like to think of what the future could be like and how we can individually own our part in building that future. So go with me on this little journey. We're going to step into a time machine. We are going to fast forward 100 years, and we are going to look around in the year 2125. And so any, children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren even, they may not even be around. We're certainly gone, at 100 to your current age. Yikes. But that means that all of the generations that have inherited this world from us are there. If we did everything right, if we did all the best things that we know how to be, we show up for each other, we're kind, we do really good research to help cure diseases, we do all the good things. We step out of our time machine together. What are you looking for to confirm that we got it right?
Wow. Well, obviously climate change at that point would not be an issue. Everything would be as it should be. You step out of that time machine and everything is beautiful and growing and just vibrant colors everywhere. I want kids, trans kids, black and brown kids, Jewish kids, disabled kids, to look back at this moment that we're in now and say, can you believe people used to argue with each other about their differences? Can you believe that people used to argue about whether we should exist, that people used to argue about whether we deserved the same things as everybody else? I think in a great future, people from marginalized communities aren't just safe, they're celebrated. Their existence is not debated. Their rights aren't bargained over. They are just human beings, and whether they're trans or a different race or different religion it's irrelevant in terms of whether or not someone sees that person as an individual, as a human being. Because I'm tired of people being hated, but even more than that, I'm tired of people being tolerated. Tolerated means allowed to exist or occur without interference.
Okay.
No human being should ever just be tolerated.
Right. Yeah.
Our presence is not something to be endured. It's to be embraced. That's what I want to see when I step out of that time machine. People from all different paths, all different generations, all different colors, all different gender identities, sexual orientations, religion, in a world where everyone's identity is met with unquestioned acceptance, respect, dignity, that a lot of people receive every day now, because no one's humanity should be up for discussion. I think a great future is where everyone has unlimited access to healthcare, that they don't feel like they have to choose between having healthcare and having a home or a car. No fear, no limitations. We can walk down the street together without worrying about who's watching, who's judging, who might hurt us. Public restrooms without worrying about being bullied, harassed, arrested, or worse. But no, it's a future where everybody's not just surviving, they're thriving.
Yeah.
And no one ever has to question ever again whether or not they're safe, whether or not they're appreciated, whether or not they're loved. It is a world where kindness is not radical, and no one has to fight to be treated as fully human. That's what I see.
That's a beautiful future. That's the one I want to be in as well.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you bring up tolerance, because it feels like it's a back door into disrespect.
Oh, it is.
Me. And that's a disturbing feeling that we talk about tolerating. I mean, tolerating pain when you've been injured, I think that makes a lot of sense, but
Sure.
people should be treasured and celebrated, not tolerated.
Not tolerated.
Yeah.
You know, I often wonder when people say, well, you know, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but
Right.
I tolerate it. Well, one, it's not a lifestyle. It's not, you know, it's not something I just chose. No one in the world, I can assure you, would ever choose to go down this road less traveled, where we feel like we're constantly having to fight to survive. So the whole toleration thing, it's kind of like, I want to say to them, you have kids. Do you want them to be tolerated by their teachers, by their friends, by other families? Or do you want them to be embraced and supported for who they are? Well, that's the same thing we want.
Right.
I don't want to be tolerated. That to me is just, that's almost like punching me in the gut.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that makes absolute sense. I have, as I've indicated to you, I have family members who are in various parts of the LGBTQIA plus, spectrum. And it's, when you've held somebody in your arms and they've been just violently ill, or you've held somebody in your arms and you've read together, or you've been held in their arms and comforted, or they sing with you, or, it's hard to think of those different family members, those friends, those community members as anything other than beloved fellow travelers in this human journey together.
Exactly.
So that brings us to the other half of the question. If we're in 2125 and we have this brilliant, amazing future, we did all the things right. What are all those things?
Well, we got to stop waiting for change to happen, first of all, and we have to start demanding it. And I know that that's easier said than done, but there's a lot of us in this world together. And I don't think there's anything that we can't do if we're all together. And we've got to start protecting what I call the least of us, or what feels like the least of us, right? We've got to start protecting those people who maybe can't protect themselves, right? That means voting like our lives depend on it when it's time to do that. Don't just sit it out, right? Just because there's candidates that you don't particularly care for, none of them, that doesn't mean you should sit it out. Think about all the people who fought, who gave their lives just so they could vote.
Yeah.
Right? So vote like our lives depend on it, because they do. Shut down all the anti-trans, anti-this, anti-that, all the racist rhetoric when you hear it. And people say all the time, oh, I'm not racist, I'm not transphobic. Okay, well, tell me what you've done that makes me even think about believing that. Because if you tell me you have a black friend or a trans niece, well, that doesn't do it. Right? That just means you know someone, or you're related to someone who is. Funding the right organizations, supporting people emotionally, politically, financially, building stronger communities across all marginalized groups. I'm so sick of everywhere I go. It's like there's these little, I guess, subdivisions, communities, and it's like mostly white people. Why can't we just learn to get along? I struggle so much with why people want to hate.
Right.
And it's a choice. And I sometimes think that it's because they're unhappy with themselves. But getting back to creating that 21, 25. I mean, we need people who don't just say that they support each other, but who put something on the line for another person.
Right.
It's not easy. Nothing worth fighting for is, but I think that if for 1 minute you would just put what you've learned aside, put all the societal norms aside and say, you know what, I'm just gonna give this a shot. For a week. I'm just gonna forget all this stuff that I was taught growing up. I'm gonna forget all this stuff that I've seen growing up and I'm used to. And I'm gonna try to have an open mind and an open heart and learn about other individuals who are different than me, that people love to other. And I think if we did that, we wouldn't go back.
Yeah.
We wouldn't go back to those old ways of thinking.
Right.
And we would learn just instinctively to love and accept and support each other and embrace each other. That is how we get to that 21, 25.
I love it. The idea that by closing other people out, we are closing out so many opportunities for
so many
music and food and language and exciting moments of deep understanding of other people. So it gets hard sometimes. It gets really hard. Right. There are days when it is hard to read news, days when it's hard to interact with someone. And we're not talking purely about politics. We're not talking purely about gender issues at this moment. Sometimes it's just hard being a human, right?
It is.
So on those days when you're just having a hard time, what do you reach for to kind of recharge your batteries, to feel inspired, to feel like there could be some great things just around the corner and that maybe you have some influence on it? How do you stay inspired?
Well, sometimes it is very, very difficult. I will be honest. You know, part of it is thinking back to when I started my transition and coming out, not just with my friends. My family is a whole different story that I won't get into because none of them were supportive, but my wife's family is certainly supportive. The people I've worked with all been tremendously supportive. And even coming out on LinkedIn, which I was very hesitant about because it's that professional side of your network. What inspires me is thinking about all the different people who reached out to me during that time period. And have reached out to me since. People that I've never met who have said to me, if you need to come to California and have any of your gender affirming care procedures done, you can stay at my house. We'll take care of you as you heal. You can use our vehicle. We'll pay for you to get here.
Wow.
Complete strangers. Seeing the impact of conversations I've had with people or the impact of work that I've done when someone reaches out and says, Liam, because you have been so vocal and showing who you are and why that's important, I now feel like I can do the same. Or I feel like I can, take better care of my trans child. I know how to really support them and be there for them. And this is going to sound really strange, but for me lately, over the past, 10 years maybe, I find a lot of inspiration in Black leaders, especially Black women. I have never seen, and it's still happening now, I've never seen Black women, or let me rephrase it. I've never seen women in general, especially white women, stand up in the face of relentless scrutiny, in the face of racism, in the face of so much that people just try to just beat them down. Stand up and show such grace and resilience and strength. And I'm talking about people like Michelle Obama, who's one of the people that I absolutely admire almost more than anyone else in the world. 𝐿 Crockett, who now is one of those people who, in the face of injustice, just speaks truth she doesn't care if it makes people uncomfortable.
Sure.
And people like, not a woman, but Dwayne Wade, who shows up for his trans daughter with this unshakable love and fierceness. These are the types of things that inspire me because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's so much good in people and that if we just continue to try and we fight and we try to love people with just this vigorous, I don't even know how to explain it, but if you just try to show people what love can do and what compassion can do and what support and just embracing a human being can do, that we can change minds, we can change hearts, that's what keeps me inspired. I've seen it happen. Does it happen often? No. If I speak to 50 people who hate me because I'm trans and one of them happens to change their mind, that to me is a lot. I've made a difference. And those are the things that inspires me. That's why I'll stop speaking out. That's why I'll stop taking action. That's why I'll continue to be 100% out and vocal and speak my truth no matter where I am.
Well, you've been inspiring to a lot of us on LinkedIn. I mean, that's how I discovered you, was just that you had a really great post, and you've had so many great posts that are all about treasuring people, being kind, standing up for what is right. I think anybody who actually has a chance to get to know you a little bit is also going to be even more inspired, and it's going to be hard for them to hate you. It's going to be hard for them to hold any kind of bigotry just because you are a really cool person.
Thank you. I'm going to put this out there for everybody, and I've done this actually. I've actually done this on LinkedIn, but I'm going to put it out there for everybody who happens to listen to this. If you want to get together, grab a cup of coffee. If you want to get together over a virtual platform, if you want to chat over the phone, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, nothing, I don't require anything. I'm not saying that you have to walk away from our conversation as best friends, but maybe if you take an opportunity to just get to know me and let's get to know each other and maybe educate each other, I think you might find that I'm just like any other person. I'm just a human being, and the fact that I'm trans is just another part of me.
Right. Well, it's much more interesting to me that you have a big heart than any other factors.
Good.
So one of the things that we like to do here, because I know people are sitting at home and they're engaging with this, what are the things that you would suggest to the viewership here that they can try to do to be kind, to take some small action that will have really positive consequences? The more you practice your kindness, the more you build those muscles, and the more it becomes a habit to reach for them. So what are some things that you would suggest people can do that are easy, maybe even moderate?
Well, one, I would say, and this is going to be hard. People tend to have this notion, this idea that their religion is the only religion, especially if they're in the United States. I would ask, first of all, for people to take the time to get to know about other religions.
Okay.
And that includes, you know, ones that you may not really want to know about. Maybe, you know, someone's an atheist, and automatically to you, that seems like something that you would rather not even be involved in, but give it a shot. Get to know about other religions, read about other religions, get to know someone who practices that religion and allow them to educate you. You may just be shocked at the similarities, but also the differences. The other thing I would say is try to, and this sounds very cliche, try to put yourself in the shoes of someone else and really sit quietly and feel what they are feeling. How would it feel to you if you were in that person's shoes and X, Y, and Z were happening to you? The other thing I would say is try to see the world through the eyes of a child.
Okay.
You know, we take so much of what we learn from our parents, from our grandparents, from our family members, but then we learn other things in the world around us from people who we work with, we meet, friends of ours, acquaintances, and it molds us into these people that we are. And sometimes a lot of that isn't good. And if we could take the opportunity just to look through the eyes of an innocent child, because children don't see color like we do. Everybody, I mean, obviously we see color, but children look at other children who are a different color and go, that's just another kid that I want to get to know, that I want to play with. Let's go play ball, whatever.
Right.
I think those are the big things for me, is just really putting yourself out there, stepping out of your comfort zone and getting to know people different from you. Get out of your typical clique and reach out to someone on LinkedIn, or reach out to someone on whatever social media platform, someone at your church, someone in the neighborhood. Go knock on a neighbor's door that you know is, from another country, or they're just different from you in some other way. Hey, let's have some coffee. Let's have some tea. Let's get to know each other. Let's spend a little time together. I think if we can step out of our comfort zone and get to know other people and keep that open mind, open heart, you'd be surprised at how much it will change you.
Great advice. So I'm curious, what are the next big things in your life? What are the big projects that you're interested in doing? What are the charities that you're supporting? What are the things that you want to tell us about, where we can kind of find you engaged in the world and maybe engage with you?
Well, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, as you can probably tell, because I know that I've got about 30,000 followers right now. So I know that by doing so, they kind of help spread the word and touch more than just what I can touch on my own. I've got some trainings coming up, some facilitation coming up for DEI at some various companies. I'm working on a resources guide for my community, the trans community, to find help, resources, whether it be legal, medical, and even asylum information now, as we're all trying to figure out what to do, where to go, who to reach out to. I am taking things day by day and trying to figure out where best to reach out and make a mark, to make a difference, to make change. And I typically find that in at least one person a day. I have put together a group of trans people and allies. We meet about every 2 weeks and sort of vent and talk to each other and try to figure out what we can do to support each other and help each other in different ways. So lots of things, I guess I should say, on my plate. Got some podcast sessions that I'm going to guest on coming up as well. So sometimes I can't keep it straight in my head what's going on. I have to look at my calendar. But yeah, I'm always open to meeting someone and walking away no longer strangers, even if it's virtually. So again, I am here. I promise you, I'm one of those people that you will really want to get to know if you just give me the opportunity to share a little bit about myself, and would love to meet you. So give me a shout on LinkedIn. Let's talk to each other.
I've loved this conversation, Liam. Thank you so much for spending time with us here on our Future is Kind podcast.
Thank you.
Liam Paschall, everybody.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
For this episode's Kindness Challenge, reach out to someone who's different from you and listen deeply. It's easy to stereotype people until you meet them and have coffee together. So go invite that colleague or neighbor to a friendly conversation where you listen and learn. Want to stay inspired so you can stay kind? Remember, one changed heart is still a miracle. Look to leaders who lead with courage and compassion, and make sure to meet with them to find out how you can do the same. You've been listening to our Future is Kind podcast, where building what's next is a choice. Make your next choice a good one and help build the future we want to live in.